What is going on, everybody? We're back with another Surviving Diddy. Man, happy Juneteenth to everyone. First off, man, happy Juneteenth. Don't let nobody tell you that you shouldn't be celebrating this holiday. Yeah. Don't let nobody tell you that. Don't let nobody tell you that. Seriously. Don't let nobody tell you.
It's kind of weird even talking about this on Juneteenth because I feel like we should be like, you know what? Hey, here we are. It's a holiday. Are we going to get our intro to?
You already, I mean, beforehand, should we play it before or after our highlighted clip? Like, how do you want to do it?
You know what? Let's do it after.
Yeah, all right. We're gonna go into Sidney Castile, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll say this about Diddy and move on. Here's the thing, dog. I don't know whether I'm surprised or disappointed that Diddy hasn't killed himself yet. Right? And here's why. If it was me, and the public was finna find out that I like male nut on my chest, nigga, rope to neck. Rope to fucking neck. We not seeing a second witness, nigga. As soon as Cassie sit her fine ass and be like, and then he likes for me to take the nut and bring it to another room and put it on his chest and he'll LeBron James the nut, like rope to neck. I'm in the cell like that shit crazy. That shit is crazy. Dirty 30 in the styrofoam. Money get my mom. I'm singing my favorite song because I'm about to go. You know what I mean? There's no way we seeing day 3.
Shout out to Sidney Castile for that. That's one of your people too, right?
Yeah. I thought you was just gonna go into the dun dun.
Oh no. I'm going into it now. Now since we here, y'all
that
would have
been perfect. Dun, dun,
yeah. Hey, look, everybody, all our new listeners always y'all know Surviving Diddy. We always have to stay at the forefront of what is going on when it comes to this brother. We want to thank everybody for taking out listening, but we got to go here first. Is all. Yeah, boy, we back. Surviving Diddy. It don't start the show fully until we drop that. And it's crazy. This started as a segment. That was just something random that we came up with, but way before any of this stuff.
Way before any of this. This is crazy.
It's been 2 years, Dom. The first Surviving Diddy is 2 years ago.
Yeah, and it all started with what's his face, Keefy D.
Keefy D. That's where it all started at. All right, what we got this time, this edition? Where do you want to start? You want to start with 50 Cent's baby mama exposing herself as Jane Doe?
Well, or 50 Cent exposing her as Jane Doe.
Which one was it? Which one was it? Because I've heard some people say that she exposed herself because she has an ongoing lawsuit now, so she had to maybe let herself be known. Or is it what you're finna say? Go ahead.
I thought it was more so of 50 exposing her after her first day of testimony. At least that's how it appears in my lens. He's the one that was making the Instagram post, but then people started to kind of do a deep dive of 50 Cent's relationship with Jane Doe.
Mm-hmm.
And it appears that 50 Cent is really in love. Like they at a beach, she all in the sand, taking photos of her, and you can see him smiling, which we never really see 50 Cent doing with anybody. And so it's just, you see all this joy on his face. So rightfully so. And people think that, this is likely what started the beef between he and Puffy. No, 50 came in the game, kind of guns blasting at Puffy. And I think it starts from when he said that he hit him up to take him shopping. I think that's where that stems from. So I think they have this ongoing long-term beef with each other. Well, not really with each other, 50 with Puffy, because Puffy really never says anything publicly. But yeah.
No, he never says anything publicly, but 50 Cent's still hilarious though. I mean,
I don't never want to be that miserable in life where I have smoke for any and everybody. It's one thing if somebody has wronged you, but it's like all the time. And when I say wronged, I mean we got the facts, the evidence, A, B, and C, and D, not somebody just saying something, some hearsay, and then you coming back with different stuff. He is a really petty nigga, and it's kind of sad. So I'm like, I just never want to be that
great at the same time, though, Dom. It's so great at the same time.
Is it? It's kind of like, dude, go to therapy. Go lay out a bit. He needs some vitamin D, and this is no pun intended. Like he needs some sunshine shining down on him because, yeah.
I mean, Dom, is the idea that it was 50 Cent's, mother of his child. I don't like saying baby mama as much because it's kind of, to me, it's just overplayed. The mother of his son on the stand, and then it came out what was her. But then they said that Diddy was kind of crying almost, like he must really like her.
Well,
like he was upset. She was like, "How much is my body worth?" or something like that. And he just sat there. They said they described him looking like, "Dang man, like I really liked her." Like I don't know.
Or you didn't realize the impact of what you was doing, because I know they said that even now, even in this and whatever that other suit is, he's still paying her rent, which is $10,000 a month.
Right. That's crazy.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy.
So Dom, do you think that they made her get on the stand? Because okay.
She absolutely got subpoenaed.
Okay. Because I'm like, somebody paying my 10 grand a month. I mean, I'm not getting on the stand. Okay, let me take that back. I don't know the circumstances, so I can't necessarily speak on it. Let me say that. But I do want to play this for you, Dom, because this is 50 at the peak of his petty right here with this right here.
The rare condition this day and age to demand a freak off with so much rage. The strangest addiction that you'll ever find. Some people say that he's losing his mind. Well, then there must be some magic juice inside the punisher. Cause all I see is a chocolate thing. Man, they're busting over everything. Days go by. It's the biggest break of Santorini.
So you want to know what's interesting is that you bring in Justin Bieber, and his team has come out and said that
he's having a breakdown or something, right?
Well, okay, well, yeah, he is definitely having a public breakdown, but they came out and said that he wasn't, I guess, assaulted or anything by Sean Puffy Combs. Something is going on with him. I know, like we will have to do an episode where we kind of do the breakdown of Justin Bieber. They think that he just
hold up. We got a good comment here from Sent Money sign Rick. If he's convicted though, he'll lose all that money. So either way, her rent probably not gonna be paid anymore if she did or didn't testify.
Hey, that's facts. But I think so the issue, like we talk about all the time, is the paper trail of everything, wiring money and moving money around, extorting people, blackmailing people, which is one of the things that came up this past week in court. They gave the jurors iPads and headphones to someone, because I guess they have like a montage of different parts of the freak offs, because they, the videos and stuff are now in the possession of like the FBI or whatever. And so they entered this information in to keep people's identities and all this stuff safe, because they don't want it getting out to the public. Which is it's really interesting, because I think ABC had even reached out to obtain like some of this footage. or whatever. But like they said, they think that he mainly does all this stuff and is recording stuff. And it's one thing for your, you have your trophies and you go back and you review things or whatever for your pleasure. But some people, what the prosecution is trying to say that he is using this as an intimidation tactic, blackmail tactic when it comes to these women that are on the video. But don't forget that some people were not aware that they were being filmed. Another thing that was coming up was, how the defense is trying to just, spin this is that all these people willingly participated in these, people say, ceremonies, these freak offs. So it looks like the prosecution is kind of wrapping up, and then the defense will have 2 to 5 days that they said that's all they need, maybe even just 2, to kind of combat everything that the prosecution has been saying. An interesting part of this is yesterday they didn't have court, like it concluded early because a juror was sick and having like vertigo like symptoms or whatever and could not come to court. Today with it being Juneteenth, courts are closed and tomorrow is expected to resume. He is going to have another assistant that is when he was arrested back in Miami, he's supposed to be the drug trafficker. So those charges are now, dropped. But he's another key witness in this case. So he's expected to take the stand tomorrow. At the latest, tomorrow at the latest, Monday possibly. And someone saying still haven't seen anything to convict him. So I want to stay here.
Oh, yeah, okay. I mean,
there's a comic paid RS.
Oh, so, okay. Hold on. I'll put it up on the big screen for everybody.
So and I meant to come in and saying, hey, can you read the racketeering conspiracy?
Let me read it again.
Yes. So, and I want everybody to be mindful that is here and that is watching at a later date. Thank you. Welcome. We're so used to seeing racketeering come through the wires of like mob ties, things like Young Thug or whatever, but we've never seen it in this setting. So it looks different. This is the conversation that I was having with my family regarding this situation, this case. We're used to it, racketeering looking a certain way where we can confirm that people have been off. We can trace these different lines of guns and all that stuff. But this is different. And like you said, by our second live, hey, it's week 2 or 3. They've already proven the racketeering charges. D, it looks like you're frozen. Blink for me. Oh, God. Can you guys see me okay? D looks frozen. Okay. So we're here. D left. He's going to come back. Yes. Wow. Did he really just say that, dumb ish? Hello, imperfect. But yes. So that's what I want people to understand. And I wanted them to understand the trafficking sentiment as well. I was like, D, you look frozen to me.
Yeah,
Can you blink? And so I just wanted to, you can read that and then I'll read the, hey, Vern, we'll read I'll read what sex trafficking is. So if you can read what the racketeering conspiracy.
Rico particularly. Let's go Rico. That's because that's really
that's what I was like. The Rico racketeering. That's part of that.
All right. So there's different levels of it, but there has to be any violation of state statutes against gambling, murder, kidnapping, extortion, arson, robbery, bribery, dealing in obscene manner, or dealing in a controlled substance or listed chemical, an act of bribery, counterfeiting, theft, embezzlement, fraud, dealing in an obscene manner, obstruction of justice, slavery, racketeering, gambling, money laundering, commission of murder for hire, embezzlement of union funds. I mean, that's not bankruptcy fraud or securities fraud, drug trafficking, copyright infringement, money laundering. Once again, bringing or aiding, assisting aliens in acts of terrorism. Those are your things that are predicate offenses to be considered for RICO.
Exactly. And then for sex trafficking is a form of human trafficking where individuals are exploited for commercial sex acts.
Hey, shout out to you, Synth, man. Appreciate you joining the live, man.
And don't forget, it's
that. Arson. Yeah, I said arson. I did say arson.
We already got that one. We can prove that.
Allegedly, nobody knows for sure, you know. Allegedly.
I think it's just weird that he said he would do it and it kind of happened. But what do we know? So sex trafficking is a form of human trafficking where individuals are exploited for commercial sex acts. It involves recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or attaining of a person for such acts. In the U.S., it's a federal crime under the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. It is illegal regardless of whether force, fraud, or coercion is involved if the victim is under 18. We talked about that. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, this is the part where it gets blurry because, again, you do have people consenting, but are they consenting to knowing that there's GHB in the baby oil? Are they aware that they're being filmed? Money for being exchanged? So when we talk about sex trafficking, and even when you go to the federal site, it breaks it down even more in layman's term where we talk about, hey, somebody flew you out and you performed any sort of ritual, sexual act or whatever, and there's money exchange. That's a form of sex trafficking and prostitution. You can get in trouble for that. Which is why we also, when you said industry silence, the only person we have spoken about that has spoken publicly in favor of Diddy and supporting him is, Sleazy J, Stevie J.
Oh, no, that's not true. We had others. We can talk about that in a minute.
Oh, there are other people now that are
Kanye West who showed up to court.
He don't count. Okay, he also appeared at the courthouse one day.
2 days.
It was 2. Okay.
2 days.
So I want to get into this article a little bit that I came across as I was getting an update for the past week because we missed last week. Hey, St. Louis was just a vibe. Okay, we didn't do nothing we were supposed to do, but we had a good time. Cranked it up. Had cigars.
Yeah. Okay. So we had a good time.
We had a really good time, and so Combs has pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. We've already proven those things had to be true, right? If convicted on all counts, he could go to prison for the rest of his life. As the prosecution continues winding down in this case, which started in early May, they plan to call 2 additional witnesses this week before arresting on Friday. Oh, they actually might not go to court tomorrow. Defense lawyers say they may plan to present a briefcase to bolster their claims that the sex parties involved consenting adults and that the rap mogul never engaged in the trafficking, which we've already proven to be false. Like he has done these things. The judge began Tuesday's court session with the most stern warning he's issued from the bench since the start of the trial, threatening to sanction lawyers on both sides for allegedly violating the strict gag order that he has slapped on the case. The judge said in a news article he did not specify which one, but it included information that was not known to the public and the media should not have known. The judge did not disclose what the information was that he was referring to, but he summoned everyone in the case to meet behind closed doors in his chambers as there was an issue with one of the jurors. And he was just like, hey, if something else comes out, I'm on all y'all head for real. So the one juror is right that they dismissing, right? Or are they going to actually dismiss? Because
they're thinking about it because he lied about where he lived. Or it was a funny thing. He said he's from the Bronx, but technically he may be from like another county. It's weird. It's like one of those things. Okay. But he's the only one that loved hip hop. He wanted to be on this trial, from what I've read. So this is Diddy's one guy, and they do not want him gone. And I don't know. Yeah, they didn't even want to keep him. Look, he might have a bad boy jacket at the house. We don't know.
Yeah, he might have that Sean John velour suit.
Hey, look, that Sean John velour suit used to crack, man. I'm sorry. I know we like to have revisionist history, but every time I think about the Sean John velour suit, don't you always think of, or is it just me to think about Wayne Wonder, that No Letting Go video?
You so silly. You were so silly.
Now I got it in your mind. Now everybody listening, Wayne Wonder makes me think of velour sweatsuits.
That's funny. So look it. So for the person who was that, Mr. Paid or Us. So I want to go back to the prosecutors try to bolster evidence of a criminal enterprise. So we talk about all these different things, right? Here's the issue. It's one thing where it's Puffy, you paying people off and all this stuff, but all this shit is coming through Bad Boy, and they can trace it.
Exactly. That's the thing. That is big. That's big for all this.
Yes.
You're using the corporate Amex to get the Punisher.
So there you go. Something so minute where you not even think, and then where they're able to trace it back, and you're like, fuck, like, you know. So it says, when Combs wrapped up more than $46,000 worth of damage to his hotel room at the Intercontinental Hotel in Manhattan Times Square, Combs' credit card bill that month was $944,000 and $59 in charges. Was paid through multiple bank accounts controlled by his companies, according to evidence shown to the jury on Thursday.
Yo, you're doing a great job with this journalism for the record, Dom. Keep going.
Listen, because your girl about to do that program at NYU. Okay, I gotta get with it. When Combs used his credit card to buy airline tickets for his former girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, and an escort in 2010, those charges were similarly paid through a signature bank account held by Bad Boy Entertainment Worldwide. That's racketeering right there. That's the RICO right there.
And I know some people are like, look, if I'm his lawyers now, I'm just trying to mitigate losses at this point.
Right. So Craig Tillman says, since you said it was so new, it really wasn't search. All that stuff can be written off if he said it was business related.
Right, but you can't have the Punisher on there.
You can't do that. You can't. That's a personal expense.
Yeah, it's just like it, but it's like when you like. If anybody's ever had to have a company credit card, you cannot use, like, even though one time, I will tell a story real quick, small story time. Y'all can clip this out. I used the corporate Amex as Sue's Rendezvous in the Bronx, circa 2017. But what they did was they would give you a receipt regular, like it's a meal. But in general, you're not supposed to. And I could have got fired for that. Listen, I'm going to be 100 with you because I was not supposed to be doing any personal things on the corporate card.
Exactly. Any personal information, because even when it comes to corporate cards, I don't even think as far as entertainment goes, like when you are you meeting with clients and entertaining them, technically alcohol is not a part of that expense either. They're supposed to pay for that, or you have to pay for that. You have to cover that portion of it.
Or you have to let it be known on the receipt as well. Like, this is for the meals, because they'll say this is for meals. And then sometimes you can lump it in together, but it's real hard to get it lumped in together. Depends on if they want to itemize receipts. Some companies are like, we want the receipt from seeing what everybody bought and ate at the table.
Yep.
Because sometimes it just depends.
Because I knew a girl that was
hold on, you got a response here, Dom.
Okay, what I was trying to say is that let me slow down. My contacts are going in and out.
Hold on, okay. I'm gonna try
what I was trying to say is that because he probably trying to get that
written off at the end of the year. I see. No, he was still trying to be, but he was trying to be slick, Craig. But you can't be doing illegal stuff and they're still trying to get a tax write-off. It don't work like that.
And here we are. I just want to remind everybody.
And what's so funny is he's probably been doing that for years. Then, if you think that and writing it off, because that ain't nothing new. If you just start. All of a sudden, you just don't wake up one day and be like, yo, you know what? I'm going to get male escorts on my corporate Amex card and charge it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Since Shrek Centrics said, Diddy, can't you see federal prison is where you'll be?
Hey, man.
But also, you know, I want to remind everybody that Diddy is here because of Diddy. It's not because of anybody else. It's because he like I told you, I ain't kink shaming.
No, not at all.
People got like stuff, you know, shout out to Sid, his joke. But to me, that's not shocking. It's not alarming, you know, but there is a paper trail here. Just like, you know, Tyler Perry's likely going to have to pay that guy off. There is a paper trail. You don't get to say and do certain things without consequence. And one of the things that I will be very grateful, forever grateful for is, you know, a life lesson that my mom taught me as a child. Look at the Z before you step into the A, because whatever that reaction is, that Z is, everything that's in the middle can fuck it all up before you, if you can see that, before you talking about all this. Well, see, here's the thing, Jen. She said, why aren't they talking about the children? And all Black people are not against Diddy. I don't understand. So, Jen, we've been covering this case for what now? 2 years.
2 years. Yeah, way before. Go in the archives, go in the playlist, Surviving Diddy playlist. You can check it out.
We have an episode where we do an emergent. What was that? The day before Thanksgiving, where we break down everything. My mom is a juvenile attorney. I have spoken to other attorneys. So I want to say this. I don't think that they were able to find anybody that was underage, because likely whomever it was used a fake ID. So until those people come forward, those women, those boys or whatever come forward and say at the time of this, and they can prove and verify their birth date, it's kind of a wash at this moment, because all that is at this moment is hearsay. I don't look, I mean, I look 38 today, but typically I don't look 38. So if I walk, I was getting carded the whole time I was in St. Louis. I was like, oh, snap. Good. I guess it's something with the dry skin out here in California that's aging. Dude, I was like, I got to figure out the loophole to get the moisture in my skin, because it was plump and suckling back home in Houston. But if someone comes forward and says that, hey, I was underage, I participated in this, you know, I didn't know that XYZ was going to be happening. I just thought I was going to a cool puffy party on a yacht, and that's it. So
there you go, Dom. What you think?
Yeah, my question to you guys is, Puffy, if Puffy was the average guy financially, do you think that the women would have stayed around and done what they were doing? Here's the thing.
Yes and no. Yes and no. And I've seen some cats, broke cats, 30 women.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said yes and no, because depending on what is happening, see, this is where we bring in digmatized. So I tell my homegirls all the time, I don't ever want to be digmatized, because a lot of girls that I seen be digmatized, they be digmatized by broke niggas, and I ain't with
because that. When you broke, you slang the best dick. I'm telling you.
Got to, because you don't got nothing else to offer.
The best dick I slung is when I ain't have no bread.
Listen, my mom and I have even had these conversations when we've talked about sex and all these different things, which is shocking to talk to a parent about, but it's interesting. But it's a level of mind control that men have when it comes to stuff like that. I can imagine, even if a simple guy, nice guy is treating you right, and then something is happening and you got the extra dick, you discombobulated. That don't feel good. I was this close one time and I said, I don't like it here. I don't like it here. I'm an Aquarius. I like being in control of my shit. I like to control what I can. I don't want to be digmatized. They should be worshiping the ground that I walk on. I'm the queen here, throwing roses at my feet. You know, like so.
Someone asked about the children. I don't know about any children or anything like that. I think one of the main revelations that I found from all this is we thought that we were going to get 70 different celebrities or whatever. It was going to be on these freak off tapes and all that. One of the biggest revelations to me was he liked to be on a dolo doing a lot of stuff. Like it wasn't, because people in their minds were thinking that it was and I'm not saying he didn't have any of these parties, because there's accounts that he did have crazy parties, but it felt like most of his stuff he liked to just be personal.
It's like with people that was unknown, because it's easier to not be, whereas you have people that were on like Epstein Island, there's a log of people that were there, having to sign this log. Whereas at his stuff, like they said, you had the regular function, you had the after hours, and then you had the after hours. Because like I told you, I got a homeboy that was up and through there. I was like, well, what part of the party were you? What was you on? Oh wait, I didn't mean to say I didn't finish it. But
yes. Hey, and we can't edit down.
And then another go talk about, well, I've been to those parties. It wasn't like that. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, they wasn't asking you to come in. No tea, no shade.
Yeah.
But based on what we're saying, and then if you watch like Soft White Underbelly, there's an interview with one of the girls.
No. That's why I said you can't talk about those in not big parties, because that girl account, I think that like hers was very vividly on point.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Just like, so when everything came out with,
and wasn't her account like way before all this stuff dropped?
Yeah. But
because I think the originals, when they took out the person's name, didn't they?
Oh, you know what? I'm not sure.
I think when it originally aired, they didn't say whose party it was.
Oh, okay. But
and then they re-released it with his name in there. Like,
okay.
It came out.
I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that. But just like the situation with when this first came out and we covered it, and I told you my connection to this, my person that's connected to this. So as I was reading the deposition and everything, this is it was on brand with the information that I had prior to this. That was years ago, right? And so even now with the situation with TP, the things that are said were on brand with the information that was brought to me. So someone said, Janine said, everyone should go on facts instead of feelings, because a lot of people believe anything they read without knowing the facts. Janine, you're new here, so I have a firsthand encounter of some things that happened years ago that align with everything that is going on with this case. That's not a flex. That's unfortunate. And so court does not go off of feelings or emotion. It goes on facts. This is not a mistrial. This isn't funny. He's talking about suicide.
That's the lawyers. If you're a lawyer, you're trying to get a mistrial. That's why we talk about that one juror. Like they all they need is one juror to flip this to a mistrial.
Yeah. And so, and then when they attempted to do that, the judge said, absolutely not. We have enough concrete evidence here to proceed, because ultimately, like I said, it's one thing for it to be on
not mistrial. I mean a hung jury. I'm sorry. Hung jury. If they just get one of those people on the 12, I'm sorry, not mistrial, a hung jury.
Yeah, but then didn't they have like 3 or 4 alternates if they had to excuse somebody? Because you remember, I think it came in, wasn't the 12, it was like 14 or 16 or something.
It's there's 18 total. 18 total. Okay. And it's 6 alternates. So if that one brother, the one they're thinking about dismissing, if that happens, then one of those alternates. But they're just basically in the bullpen, so they're getting the same information. They're getting everything to see everything, but it's just a little bit, on a different lines.
Yeah. They have concrete facts in here. So I just wanted to say that to Mr. Mark Young. Can I ask you guys one more thing? What happened to all the children? The blank about the tapes. So that's what we. So when Jennifer had asked about that earlier, Craig, a few moments ago, that's how we were breaking that down. So far, no one has come forward saying that they were underage. I think and to be honest, like I said, it's one thing to appear young and you're not young, like us here. But until someone comes forward and says or they can prove that, if the prosecution can prove that, which I don't think they can at this moment, here we are. So I don't think that is something that they cannot confirm.
Oh no! Shout out to you, since Rep, that juror I was talking about did get dismissed yesterday. I'm sorry.
Oh, they did dismiss him.
Yeah, and yes, they got dismissed yesterday. So they had been talking about it, but they dismissed him for those reasons I was talking about earlier. Supposedly where he lived at was that he lied in his original statement, juror statement.
You know what that likely is? His ID is likely registered to one location and he lives somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that simple. So depending on the county and where you are living, because I've had that happen. Okay, in St. Louis, I had my car registered to my uncle's house, and I got called for jury duty in St. Louis County, but I lived in St. Louis City. So I had to tell them, take it there. I was like, oh, I no longer live there, because that was to get my insurance lowered.
Oh, it was. So this dude might live in Jersey, Dom, not even in one of New York counties. I forget. He might live in Jersey instead of the Bronx. I know he's supposed to live in the Bronx. I thought he lived in maybe another New York county. Nah, he lived in a whole nother state.
Okay, so yeah, he don't need to be there. So Jennifer also said, but that's for sure.
He said that he wasn't starstruck. So the article I'm reading now says he wasn't starstruck by Diddy. He doesn't want to do anything, get any popularity, and he's more into Spanish music. He's a Black Hispanic man. He said he claimed he was from Westchester County.
Okay, so was he Dominican or something?
Yeah.
But so Jennifer said, but there's for sure Usher, Justin Bieber, that Orlando boy, Orlando Brown, Aaron Carter said they were all underage. I don't remember Aaron Carter being around Diddy. Aaron Carter, that's the special. That's an interesting case. I watched a documentary about Aaron Carter not too long ago. God rest that boy's soul. But Usher, we can confirm. Justin Bieber, we can confirm. But you missed when I said that Justin Bieber's team came out. His attorney came out and said that he wasn't assaulted and impacted by any other things, and they don't want Justin to be the topic of the conversation because it takes away from the actual victims. Usher. We like how we talked about Usher the other day acting a fool at the BET Awards and all of this stuff.
And guess who replaced the juror, Dom? A 57-year-old white man from Westchester County.
Oh, well, here we go. But there was something there that stirred something up, because just like the Usher was kind of wilding after they, But all we know is that Usher's mom came and got Usher from daddy's house and then insert her being his manager full time. That's all. Like we are aware based on previous conversation, but until Usher says this happened to me, it's technically just hearsay.
Yeah, it's
unfortunate, but it's just the hearsay.
And I get to a certain extent. I understand legally how some people are like, man, this is not a RICO. This is not, but it's just the fact that and I look at it like this. Have you seen, like, let me get my words correctly as I say this. We all do some illegal things sometimes and skirt the lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you consistently are squirting the lines, let's say you speed all the time. Let's use the speeding. You speed all the time. You go 110 all the time. You ain't really hurt nobody. It's been all good. You slow down, you speed up to 110. But what about that time you hit 120 and you hurt somebody or it's crashed somebody's car? Now you're in a legal situation because you were breaking law, even though it wasn't a murder per se, because you were intentionally, but it's homicide. So with that being said, Diddy was always running on this track, and all these guys, not just Diddy, it's not just it's other women. People have been skirting this line of doing so many different things for so long that it's going to come up for you. And keep in mind with this whole thing, people, Diddy could have stopped all of this if he would have just paid Cassie up front. We would have never known nothing about this. Hubris, man. I always said all the time. He could have just did that.
But I told you where I think it really started.
But they said the feds were on him for a while. They had been certain.
I believe that because once they got Diddy, I think, and I'm not, I'm not up the street, so I don't care about snitching or anything like that. But for from that moment, you remember they brought him in for questioning, and then they released him. So I said that started a chain of events that happened.
Tupac getting his comeuppance from the grave.
So it was Biggie.
Yep.
Because you know, but like I told you, I think it's weird that Jane Doe isn't subpoenaed because he's been very vocal and honest about this. I said this on our last live.
I mean, I know why he hasn't been subpoenaed. They just get to pull up the art of dialogue when he's on there and just pull that up. Honestly, that's what I would do. I would just I would bring Jane Doe, but it's already public information. Let me press play.
Right. It's like you said this. We have this from his bodyguard that has a book that has been speaking publicly about this, who has quit working with him 3 times. The first time being after the college situation, what happened at the university, the stampede. Then after Biggie, and then ultimately
Heavy D. Him and Heavy D was doing that together.
Yeah, and then ultimately what happens with a random fallout with Puffy Mama. So that's the part where.
Do you want to talk about Kels for a second? As we got everybody in the room, or you got more on the Diddy case?
No, you know what? Let me see my notes. What I got.
Oh, Mikhail saying I don't know law, but I do know felons not supposed to have weapons. But I mean, but
technically, Diddy's not a felon.
But Diddy's not a felon, though.
Diddy not a felon because don't forget, Sean took that charge for him.
Yep.
So they okay. I think that's pretty much it because, like I said,
Jennifer, I didn't even know that they had to go in the order that that they were selected. Oh, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I can see that you're in the order for that new juror. So it wasn't like because that makes it fair. You just can't just randomly select someone. It's by the next juror up, basically.
Yeah.
So, thanks for that, Jennifer.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it. It's just that. Prosecutors say that the records show how Combs entangled his business and personal lives, allegedly leveraging the money held by his company to orchestrate highly choreographed and well-resourced sex parties where he watched and masturbated while directing the intimate activity. The jury also saw text messages showing how Christine Quorum, Combs' one-time chief of staff, scrambled in 2016 to make sure the video of Combs assaulting Cassie Ventura at an LA hotel would not see the light of day. The video is the centerpiece of the prosecution's case. The video wound up being played on CNN last year and has been viewed repeatedly during the trial. After Ventura refused to answer Combs' texts and calls following the incident, Quorum tried to intervene. According to the records, just talk to him. Sorry, don't want to be in the middle, but I just don't want him to go back over there. In a separate exchange, Quorum instructed an assistant to say they had a fun drunk night and try to get more info. So it's a lot of things that are happening. Like this is, y'all don't know, burn the phone. Like, nigga, your daddy was a big wig, allegedly.
No, I ain't no allegedly. I don't think that's allegedly.
So, well, then, new things came up in there as the information came out more, might have been snitched, but whatever, not my business.
Right. What do you mean might have been? I think that was
not my business. But I'm like, burn phones, all these different things, paper trail, but like I said, when
but think about it. If you've been doing something for so long, you think you can just keep doing it in a certain way. So like, man, think about how long
his dad was a snitch. Your words, not mine.
But allegedly, I don't know. Allegedly, it's whatever. No, but in seriousness, when you have used to doing something over and over again, and you getting away with stuff, it was second nature. He didn't think none of this was gonna happen. He been using the MX for years for stuff, and the only time that he didn't is when he. I don't even remember when we talked about the cop last time, not the cop, the security guards, and like he did one of the payments accidentally with like a check or something. He's like, oh no, the next payment need to be like in cash. There was something weird. I forgot what it was. that he sent money to someone, but he was like, no, you need to do that in cash. Why you do that in check? And it was like, dude, what are y'all doing? But like I said, it's a criminal organization. It's not criminal. He had criminals around him, but he's not a criminal himself. He's running the organization, but he's not about all that. Let's keep it real.
It's all because it's weaved into his business, and they're able to pull that wool back, and that's how you have the RICO charge.
Yeah, it's the thing. You're exactly correct. When you start, but that's the thing. When you're doing criminal stuff, you try to keep your businesses as much separated from your criminal actions as possible, even though you do want to use them to clean it up. And that's where I wonder if they were trying to go. But it doesn't look like the prosecution is trying to go to that level of like, was you moving money through this way back and forth? Because that's when it gets muddy, is when people were like, "Oh, well, you want to see the receipts." When you're not having a dedicated books for business of just these expenses, stuff gets real muddy, and even in the government for taxes can be like, "Yo, like, what's going on here?" Like, okay, so you use your personal card for this, but then use your business card for some personal. No, bro, we finna audit you. But Diddy's got good tax accountants.
And that's what happens a lot of times. But like we said,
but Diddy's got good tax accountants that have probably figured that all out for him.
But like I told you, I still think it's one of the things that is just really, they've been watching it for a while and been waiting for the slip up. Because it's like you said, it's one thing.
You know what? I believe that totally. That this wasn't. It was just, ooh, we got him. We've been trying to find out.
We're trying to get him for a while. Because think even back to the Shine thing.
Oh, they was mad about that. Oh, you know,
because especially because the girl that got shot was like, I saw who shot me, and then you go to harass the girl afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you couldn't just pay her off and just like be done with it. You got your homeboy doing the time for you. Y'all gonna pay her off. It could be done, and you didn't do that, and you going to harass her. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's just like how the situation with Nicki Minaj and them harassing the girl whose parents, had him with that statutory rape charge, her husband. Harassing her. Your brother molesting, assaulting minors. You're paying for the court as if it's not a problem. But I'm like, you are an enabler. And a lot of people around Puffy enabled him. That is the key thing.
I don't know if it's enable. I think they just did not enable. They just wanted to be down, like Brandy.
No, but that's a part of enabling. Like, because if I'm not going to counteract what you're saying and what you're doing, I am an enabler, and that's just the logic behind it. Somebody, Jim, what's made my stomach turn is those poor people had to sit there and watch 50 minutes of freak offs. I don't think, that's why they watched it and they had headphones. Oh my God. And it says, I have to go back to work. Thank you for your stream. I'll definitely be back. Thank you so much for
coming. Thank you so much. So that we did not talk about that part. They got to watch one of the freak offs.
They got to see a montage of them.
So it's 50. So Jennifer, it was 50 minutes they had to watch? Hold on.
I didn't see in my article, it didn't say the time frame. It shows the drawings of the.
So did they do this off in another room, or like was it like so the courtroom didn't get to see right?
The photo that I saw, it looks like hold on, let me get the picture because it's a sketch. It looks like they're on the stage.
Oh yeah, I see the sketch. Yeah, they got their headphones on and watching it. So you know what? It's so funny. I'm getting so now I wouldn't say I'm old. Not
Thank
old.
You, Jasmine.
Thank you, Jazz. But I'm thinking now, like I'm thinking of old courtrooms where you would have to go with the TV monitor like a kid when you was in school, when you had TV day, like a big thing. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm forgetting we got great technology now. Everybody had a little iPad and watch it.
And this is because
that's what it looks like in the picture.
And likely that's because they still wanted to give probably the people on these videos a level of discretion, like not discretion, hidden identity. Because don't forget, people didn't know that they were being recorded, that there were like cameras and stuff in these rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So that is to maintain the identity. So whereas normally, you know, OJ case, they did bring in the TV and all these different things.
No, but in my mind, it would have been, and even though I'm trying to bring some funny and levity to this, I wanted them to be in the room and they bring out the TV like we were kids.
Yeah, no, that makes
TV
sense.
Show freak offs. But even though I know that we got better technology, but that'd have been funny. Like, hey y'all, we getting ready to watch the freak off.
But I was telling you likely why they didn't do that, because I think in any other case, if it wasn't that aspect of visual sexual assault and all happening, yeah. I think that's why they
just do one TV in the room
because in front of everybody. But because you already don't have photographers or cameras, video cameras are not allowed, and you have the sketch artists. This still provides a layer of anonymity. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
To the people on the tapes, which is why even with the ear plugs and everything that they were able to watch.
This is just wild to think about the world and times we in. Think about it. Somebody's watching Diddy's freak offs on an iPad and then rewinding, fast forwarding, and with headphones on. Think about how wild that the idea of all this is.
Yeah, it is. It is really crazy. And you know, people are like, "Oh, black people want downfall." I said, you know, I one thing is this: sometimes people are just terrible human beings, and I want to remind people of that, regardless of the color of the skin, their content of their character. Sometimes people are just terrible human beings, and we have to remember that. Everything that's happened here is not okay. They're like, "Oh, he's on trial for being a freak." He's not on trial for being a freak. He's on trial for how he handled these situations. People be freaks all the time. We know that freaking Pam Grier is sterile.
Allegedly.
Her words, not ours.
Richard Pryor.
Yeah,
allegedly.
Richard Pryor putting cocaine, you know, having that much cocaine in his system and putting it in her. So that's what I'm saying. Rick James.
Oh, so Jennifer said 20 minutes. Yeah, well, the Rick.
But you know, the court case, I think I always send you that clip every time I come across it, where he is on like one of them court case shows.
On Judge Mathis or something.
Like where he is just like, no, he on Judge Joe Brown.
Joe Brown.
Where he's talking about, hey, I know I say I'm a super freak, but it's a song. My friend, I think he's a homosexual. But I'm not. He put his hands on my buttocks from somewhere to 30 to 45 seconds. And I was like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So,
but Jennifer said it was 20 minutes of one and 40 minutes of another. So you got a break. I got a break in between the freak off. Oh man, this is horrible for those.
Thank you, Jasmine. She said, yes, people are stuck on skin color, forgetting that people have choices. And Sean's choice was to abuse people, and he suffered the consequences of that. Yeah, it's that simple. It's that simple.
Just be a good person, like you said. But man, and keep in mind, I'm one of the first original Diddy haters, y'all. Since '97. So I've been telling people for years about this guy.
Let me tell you something, y'all. I got a Spotify star playlist, and you know, it's like songs that you start, and it's just like you can put it on shuffle. Y'all, the amount of Puffy that low-key came up on my stuff, I was like, oh.
Now that's a little bit different though than the Kill situation. I feel like, because this is the thing with Diddy,
we know these songs are not about
all this stuff for real, Dom. So you can still listen. He was still up in production.
That Diddy Dirty Money album.
He was still in people production, Dom.
Yeah,
it's okay.
All right.
And maybe we can get these people their money back.
That came on. It was like, tell me what you're thinking about when you got impatiently with Christina Aguilera. I was like, boy, I got my eyes on you. Tell me what you want to do. And I was like, skip.
Hold on, so you sat there and you had to hear it for a minute. You was like, did you do it slowly or was it a fast skip?
It was a slow skip. It was like I was bopping to it, and then I was like, skip.
You wanted to wait for your one part, and then he was like, okay, I'm good. Skip.
Man, because like that song, like he got that song with Grace Jones. he got another one like that's also on Diddy Dirty Money where it's like
I never listened to Dirty Money. Only song I did like was the
good.
Angel
It was
song.
really
That was
good
it.
production. Best. I think that's a porno link.
Oh, that's from StreamYard. I mean, not StreamYard, from Twitch.
Oh, Twitch. Hi, best viewers on Twitch. Hi, Twitcher. But yeah, I don't know, but just like listen, like, and when you said, do we want to talk about the R. Kelly thing?
No, we don't have to.
Okay, I would like to gather a little more information, but I just want to let you know that I got a homeboy that has converted to like Islam or whatever. He's Muslim, right?
Okay.
Today on his story,
so he took Shalat and everything.
Yeah, he's like formerly not Malcolm X.
No, I'm talking about Shalat is that. Yes, when you take Shalat.
I was like, he's not, like a brother of the nation,
Mm-hmm.
But
there's nothing wrong with that. Hold on now. Don't.
Okay.
Don't disrespect the NOI.
That is two different things.
It is, but don't respect the NOI.
Brother,
please. I had to tell the story. I was literally a snowstorm away from being.
You was about to be. You was there. You was right there.
I've been having prize on the corner.
So anyway, and I was like, absolutely not. And he was like, man, you tripping R. Kelly to go or whatever. I said, no thanks. I was like, not when I know the songs are about 17-year-old girls. And he's like, okay. He was like, so some of the greatest songs, hits that are out there are produced by R. Kelly. So he gonna say Michael Jackson. I said, You Are Not Alone is not my favorite song. It's probably lower on the Michael Jackson.
I didn't really like it that much even before all that, to be honest.
Me neither. I was just like, this again.
No, because it was because of the video with Lisa Marie Presley for me. It was just so like cringe.
Yes, and then the lighting was very hot to me. Where I'm like, why is it so stark white? Like, it's weird. But he was like Whitney Houston. I said, not my favorite track. Never listened to. He's like, and Jaheim, definitely. We talked about this. Don't like
you know how you feel about Jaheim.
And then he was like B2K. I said, y'all know how I felt the other day. I was like, if it's gonna be the full track, that's one thing. But there's certain and I think people really sit up here and make it seem like R. Kelly was like Luther or Marvin Gaye or Bear, like
he's talented dude. We can do that.
I'm not taking that. But for me, I can do without. You know what I mean? Like so for me, like if like how. And I can't compare the two situations.
Look, I mean, no, Dom, I get it. You remind me, my Jeep is not the same as what's going on by Marvin Gaye. It's not the same.
So, listen, Mark said Jane Doe set him up. Jane is not Daphne Joy. According to 50 Cent, is Daphne Joy. We just going, that's what we said. We just going off of what the hell.
The great 50 Cent.
50 said that was Daphne Joy. Like he said it that day she took the stand. That I don't know. So this is that's hearsay. We cannot confirm it or not. The reports are still calling her Jane Doe, which they, have to. And that's it. We're not confirming that. That is just what 50 said. Because I remember I even asked my mom about that. I said, wouldn't that be wouldn't they now, since technically her identity was revealed by like a third party, remove her from any testimony?
Yeah. This I don't know, man. I need if there's any legal beagles in the chat, I would love, and not prison legal eagle either. I'm not those cats. You got your prison law degree. I'm talking about real lawyers. If you're in the chat, chime on in if you could.
I mean, we'll see. Like I said, it looks like the defense will be pretty much taking over as the prosecution is closing out or whatever in this next week. So we'll see how long that they are kind of going back and forth and like closing remarks and what that looks like and how long it'll take them to deliberate.
Yeah, I mean, I want to start a new movement, Don, before we get out of here.
Okay.
I know people been saying free Diddy, and those ignorant people saying free Diddy. Why don't we free Diddy's publishing for all the people with money that are owed money?
Fairly free his the publishing. I think that's fair. I like that.
Free Diddy's publishing.
Like, and where it is fair
Hashtag free Diddy publishing.
Yes, because for me, like I said, I still enjoy Danity Kane. I love the first, like, well, they only have 2 albums. Like, I love those first 2 projects. Well, they only have 2.
I never was into Danity Kane.
Yeah, well, yeah, that wouldn't be for
bad
you.
boy artist I really got into
was Carl Thomas, right?
Ooh, is it? I love Carl Thomas for the record now.
Yeah, you love Carl
maybe
Thomas.
Mario Winans. I had a little Mario Winans. I like the Mario Winans little thing for a second, you know.
Okay. I got my Faith Evans songs that I like.
I know I like Faith. I'm talking about the last one, not the last. And I like Black Rob. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Black Rob was dope.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Black Rob, man. Y'all understand how with some of this Dom is, everybody know me and Dom have not a significant age, but have generational difference age-wise. Yeah. I was outside when Woe came out. That's all.
I was definitely not outside. I was in middle school when Woe came out.
I was a freshman in college. We was Whoa.
Yeah. Because I think, to be exact, I think I might have been in the 8th grade, because I remember I could see this one dude, my one homeboy from middle school. I could see him like kind of like playing it or like doing like dancing to it or something. I could see that, and I feel like that was 8th grade. Terrence Addison.
Addison. Oh, man. Yeah. Dom, let everybody know in the live. Shout out to everybody coming into the live stream today. We really appreciate y'all. Like y'all, we had a ball with y'all. We don't do we normally do it at night. Maybe we need to start doing it in the day.
Listen, I'm laid off. I'm okay with that. I just have to put it on my schedule so I know.
Right. So we'll run it back next week again. You know, maybe not this long. You know.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all a lot. Please be sure to like, subscribe.
Yeah. Where can people check you out, Dom?
Yeah, SOLC Network, along with mine, St. Angela's. Please watch the content that we put out there. I got my followers. I need my watch hours to be monetized or whatever, so I can produce a lot of stuff. I do a separate podcast called Whiskey Soured, which I was on hiatus again, being out of town. So I got to record a few more episodes where we bring that back. And I have a current, what do we call this segment? We call it a series called I Get It From My Mama. So as I go back and forth between our hometown of St. Louis and Los Angeles, where I currently reside, my mom has this big closet and has been clearing out stuff that she has passed down to me. I hope y'all really get into it. It's funny because I'm going to a party tonight for the movie Sinners that they're doing for Juneteenth here in Hollywood. And my mom gave me 2 dresses just on a humbug. And I'm trying to figure out which dress I'm gonna wear. So it'll be an ongoing series where you'll see how I actually wear and style those pieces out in public. So I'm trying to figure out which dress I'm gonna wear tonight. So yeah.
Yeah, but hey, everybody, thank y'all for listening. And free Diddy's publishing. Let's get this going. Free Diddy publishing. Not free.
Oh no, I think we might need to have that as a hashtag, like where it's just like a square on our page, and we gotta
free Diddy publishing. Thank y'all for listening, yo, and make sure you check out everything else we got. Peace.